And the last matter on this part of the agenda, the submission on the health fluoridation of drinking water amendment bill. Now, there's a copy of the submission on everyone's desk. So we've had it updated, and the key elements of the update is that we oppose the bill because community consultation has not made a requirement for the decision maker in relation to a decision to fluoridate drinking water, and so under the Local Government Act, I mean the bill proposes that the decision making around fluoridation go from the local authority, who has an obligation under the Local Government Act to consult its communities over decisions of significance, and this is a significant decision. It transfers the decision making to a decision maker that doesn't have an obligation to consult on any of the decisions that it makes, and then if the new decision maker is then given the position of, the new decision maker makes a decision that the water is fluoridated, then the cost is met by the local authority that has no say in the decision making. So, and that means that the cost comes back to the ratepayers of a district, even though they haven't been consulted over what is a significant cost. We oppose the resolution at the Local Government New Zealand conference, which sought to see the decision making transfer through to the Ministry of Health, and because they saw it as a health decision. But I think that councils around the country that voted for that change to the law expected that the decision making would also be accompanied by the funding responsibility, and of course the government's done the complete opposite, which is interesting. They've handed it not to the Ministry of Health for a health decision to apply across the country. They've handed it to individual district health boards. So in our region, we've got 2 district health boards. We've got the Canterbury District Health Board and the South Canterbury District Health Board. And then each district health board makes its own decision. If the Canterbury DHB decided that its water supplies, plural, would be fluoridated, then the cost for Christchurch City alone would be $10.5 million capital. That's a approximate sum of money. It could be more than that, and over $500,000 per year operational. So it's a significant cost to the city and the district that it has. The peninsula is part of our responsibility as well. We have multiple levels of multiple points of drawing from different public water suppliers that supply our district. So I think this submission is now a lot firmer than the one that we looked at in its draft form, and so I'm really keen to open that up for. If there are any questions of staff, but it's not questions really other than technical questions, and then just probably a quick debate on whether we accept this submission, and then whether we want to appear in support of the submission or not. Pauline. Sarah.
Sort of a question. I'm just wondering if we, and it's on the content, but whether we should, in our conclusion, actually put some more emphasis on the point of difference that we have here in Christchurch, because of the way we source our water, and because of the cost implications of that we do have a point of difference, and therefore that could well affect the viability of any proposal. I'm just wondering if that needs to be highlighted and strengthened, and then you could just refer paragraphs 4, 5, 6, 9. And also, I also would like to have 17A inserted in our conclusion there, that looking at all practicable options for the achievement of the objective, that doesn't include mass medication. I'd just like to see those two things actually highlighted at the conclusion as well, and wonder about the will of the table to do that.
Sorry, which part do you want in the conclusion?
To read that Christchurch has a point of difference in how its water is sourced, which could which could affect the financial viability of this proposal, and that would refer to paragraphs 4, 5, 6 and 9 in the report. And also to strengthen, to make sure 17A is included in the conclusion, which is actually seeking innovative ideas to achieve this, all practical options, without mass medication.
Yeah, I don't want to refer to mass medication because that sounds like the argument.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And it's not the argument. We're not.
Exploring other options, I think, is...
yeah, but that is an obligation under the Local Government Act, you're quite right,
yeah.
And it should be highlighted.
Thank you.
Yep. Sarah?
It's the those democratic principles and things. When we look at the DHBs, and point 24 there talks about the DHBs and the difference between those who are appointed and elected and the potential for conflict there. The DHBs, my understanding is that DHBs have to meet what's required by the Ministry of Health, and so it's this, if there's a directive from the ministry that dental care, those kind of things, be a key consideration, would they have to make the decision to, no matter what the elected members stood for anyway? Would there be an imperative for them to decide to do it?
Sorry, I don't know enough about the background workings of the DHB. I don't know.
Some of the submissions made previously around fluoridation from DHBs is they meet the cost of the medical side of it, so that's why they meet that. Admittedly, it's out of a grant from the government, don't get me wrong, but so in the past I've made submissions saying that it's far more cost effective to put fluoride in than for them to treat, but that's one group paying, another group benefiting, and that's the problem. So that's really the difference. But I would say, and I suppose our members sitting away from the board at the moment, but any place that I've seen a DHB appear around fluoridation, it's been on a cost benefit basis, that it was the benefits outweigh the costs.
Okay.
Yes. One of the things, could I just ask you a question? It is that second sentence in 3.1. It submits the legislation will remain unaltered because of that requirement of the Local Government Act to get community views. If you read that, that's saying basically you want the decision to stay with council. I just wanted to confirm that. It's kind of hidden in the submission here. Maybe it's, I just wanted to make sure that's what the intention is if you read that sentence.
Yeah. Fluoride in water in Christchurch, given the strong emotional attachment that people have to water, you need to consult this community incredibly well, and this seeks to take away any consultation. A lot of people will be making submissions on
if
this.
If the DHB or the Ministry of Health had to fund and had to consult under exactly the same conditions, would we want the decision making sitting here or sitting else? This says no matter what, we want it to sit with council, and that's just what I wanted to clarify.
Our primary view is that the legislative framework shouldn't change.
Yes.
Our secondary position, our fallback position as it were, is that if the decision is made to transfer the decision maker, then actually central government has to fully fund both the costs of establishing fluoridation and the ongoing operational costs. And the reason that we've highlighted central government as being really the source of this for the funding of it is because if they make the DHBs pay without increasing the amount, then something else will give in terms of the DHB funding for the area. And I'm not in favour of seeing our DHB, sort of more underfunded, as a result of a decision that it may want to make around fluoridation.
I might just talk to Judith and whether we pull that second sentence out to be a point so it is highlighted slightly more.
Or maybe that we should start that it opposes the bill because it opposes the bill and submits that the legislation must continue to allow the local authority to be the decision maker, because there is a requirement under that Act for councils to consider community views before making such a significant decision.
Yep. And that would just, I think, clarify, make it a bit clearer maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but we've got to state our opposition to the bill. Yeah. All right?
Yep.
Would someone like to...
So people with amendments as discussed.
Yeah, with amendments as discussed. And do we want to appear in support of the submission?
I think you just made a compelling case. I think you should go.
Well, we'll ask them to come here. I actually think that there's going to be quite a few submissions from Christchurch. So, and... you know, I know that if the test of the Vicky Buck Facebook page is anything to go by, there will be a lot of submissions from Christchurch. So we will certainly ask for them to hear submissions in Christchurch.
Yep, excellent.
We could put that in here too.
Yes, yes, please do. Yeah.
Did you just one thing in terms of just making a position known to LGNZ? Is there any?
Yeah, we will.
It'd be good to circulate it to them.
So can we send a copy to LGNZ as well? But I've got to speak to them about something else, so I'll mention.
And there's also the Regional Mayoral Forum tomorrow. The
Regional Mayoral Forum tomorrow can be informed by me.
And tomorrow I have been having some conversations with the medical officer of health once he's seen it, and I don't know what they're saying, but the DHB's making a submission, so I have a meeting with him tomorrow morning, so I will tell him basically where the council's come from, if that's all right by council.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's
Problem.
Sorry? I don't know what their submission is. I'll probably find out tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so would someone like to move it? Vicky, second of Pauline. I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried.